Good evening and welcome back. If you are just joining us, today's Kash Patel hearing took a sharp and emotional turn as Vice Chair Tenu delivered remarks that went far beyond routine oversight.
Next, I'll yield to Vice Chair Tenu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. My heart goes out to the victims and the families and all those affected at the mass shooting at Brown University. I hope law enforcement catches the murderer soon and that that person is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I also request the FBI director to stop putting out false information. It's not the first time he's done it. He wrongly identified a potential suspect in this case. There's literally no reason for the FBI director to have to be the first one to tweet something, to put out these things before verifying the facts. And when he does that, it ends up potentially ruining lives, putting the public at risk, and it's not something that FBI director needs to do. I ask him to just stop doing that. I also wanted to say that my prayers are with the Jewish community, both in the United States and across the world. A heinous attack in Australia was completely devastating. No one should ever be targeted because of their religious beliefs, especially when they're practicing those religious beliefs. And anti-Semitism, both in the U.S. and around the world, has continued to grow. And we need to do more to stamp this form of discrimination out, one of the oldest in humankind. And it is a scourge upon humanity, and we need to all work together to eradicate it. Now I'd like to talk about jobs, which we've now reached the highest unemployment in since 2021, 4.6%. The American people know that the policies of Trump and Republicans are crushing people economically. We know costs also continue to rise, grocery costs, electricity costs, as well as healthcare costs. And Republicans have had an entire year to fix the healthcare system. They knew that the ACA subsidies were expiring, and they've done nothing about it. And this week, they still don't have a plan to restore the subsidies for the ACA. Democrats have a discharge petition. 214 members have signed it. We just need 4 Republicans to sign this discharge petition, and we can stop these premium rates from increasing for people on the ACA.
This was not just a political moment. It was a reflection of how public safety, trust in institutions, and everyday economic pressure are colliding right now in America. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our continuing coverage and breakdowns of these critical hearings. Vice Chair Tenu opened by addressing the mass shooting at Brown University, offering condolences to the victims, their families, and everyone affected by the tragedy. These opening remarks set a serious tone and reminded viewers that behind every headline are real people whose lives have been permanently changed. In moments like this, public officials are expected to provide clarity, calm, and accuracy. That expectation became the core of his criticism next. Tenu directly called out the FBI director for what he described as the repeated release of false or unverified information. According to the vice chair, the director wrongly identified a potential suspect in this case, a move he argued was unnecessary and dangerous. From a law enforcement perspective, this is not a small accusation. Premature public statements can derail investigations, endanger innocent people, and permanently damage lives. In today's social media-driven news cycle, once a name or image is released, the harm cannot be undone. This moment was a reminder that speed should never outweigh accuracy, especially when public trust in federal institutions is already fragile. If this kind of analysis matters to you, go ahead and subscribe so you stay informed with context, not just headlines. The vice chair then shifted to a global issue that has increasingly become a domestic concern: rising anti-Semitism. He referenced a recent attack in Australia and extended his prayers to Jewish communities both abroad and here in the United States. His message was clear: no one should ever be targeted for their religious beliefs, particularly while peacefully practicing their faith. Anti-Semitism, which he described as one of the oldest forms of discrimination in human history, is not just a historical stain, but a current and growing threat. This portion of the remarks underscored a broader reality. Hate-driven violence does not exist in isolation and demands a coordinated response from leaders, institutions, and communities. If you value coverage that connects global events to their local impact, subscribe to the channel for ongoing analysis. From there, the focus turned sharply to the economy, an issue affecting nearly every household watching. Tenu pointed to the unemployment rate, now at 4.6%, the highest level seen since 2021. While that number alone may not sound alarming, context matters. Rising unemployment combined with rising costs creates a squeeze that families feel immediately. Grocery prices, electricity bills, and healthcare expenses continue to climb, even as wages struggle to keep pace. The vice chair placed responsibility squarely on Republican leadership and former President Trump's policies, arguing they are worsening economic pressure instead of relieving it. Whether viewers agree or disagree politically, the data shows a growing anxiety about affordability, and that anxiety is shaping voter sentiment heading into the next election cycle. Subscribe now so you do not miss how these economic debates evolve. Healthcare then became the centerpiece of the closing argument. Tenu criticized Republicans for failing to act on expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, something lawmakers have known was coming for over a year. These subsidies help millions of Americans afford their health insurance, and without action, premiums are set to rise sharply. He highlighted a Democratic-led discharge petition that already has 214 signatures, just 4 short of forcing a vote. This is an important procedural detail that many viewers may not know. A discharge petition is one of the few tools lawmakers have to bypass leadership gridlock and bring an issue directly to the floor. In plain terms, the policy solution exists, the support nearly exists, but the political will has stalled. For families relying on ACA plans, the outcome of this process could mean the difference between affordable coverage and going uninsured.